stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show that River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show. Don't give us the bug. Don't give us your stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show that River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show. Oh.
Welcome in, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It's Thursday, the 4th of September. You with Steve Wyss and Nathan Joyes. Nathan's back for his double dose this week. We had a great preview show a couple of days ago, focusing on South America. A little bit of catch-up later on for events in that continent, but we're going to be focusing on the Euro qualifiers today on this show. Nathan, I do believe you are in sunnier climate today than than it was on Tuesday. How's things?
Yeah, a few days away in Seville. They haven't just had a massive makeover behind me. So, yeah, I've left the wife by the pool for an hour or so to come and talk to you about football. So, yeah, she's fine. I'm all good. And, yeah, a few more days left in the sun to enjoy.
What's the vibe like in Seville with their, well, as Sevilla actually won at the weekend. They're a team I'm really full of in this year with Matias Almeida as manager. I think we're going to get a lot of chaotic games under them, but it seems like Real Betis are the team going places in Seville these days. Anthony was given a hero's welcome on re-signing for the club. So the green half of Seville is certainly basking in more of a glory these days out there. Big soccer city, though, isn't it, in general?
It's funny you should say that because I haven't seen a single Seville shirt. Admittedly, I've only been here 36 hours, but everywhere is green and white. And everyone seems to be in Real Betis shirt. So maybe it's that Anthony news, which is everyone's changing colours. I don't know, but I haven't seen a Seville fan yet, which is really strange because I've been out and about for, like I said, a day and a half now, and it's just Real Betis everywhere. So I'm not sure what that says.
Yeah, they're hiding. They've got Alexis Sanchez coming to lead the line, and not such a great time for Sevilla. I hope they bounce, but I like both teams. I know you can only be a fan of one if you're out there, but I don't hate either team. I've always quite liked both. So, which is unusual for me. There's normally a team in one of the cities, whatever, that I will always go towards. But anyway, welcome in, everyone. Barak Levav, good to see you. Ming Chung, Villa fan as well. Barak tailed my Wales pick yesterday of under 2.5 goals. I'm hoping it's just the most boring second half. Wales lead 1-0. I've got it on the TV here. And, play for that 1-0 Wales or 2-0 at best. If it goes 1-1, all hell will let loose and it'll be a bonkers game. So Kazakhstan equalise. I'm absolutely finished. Duncan Evan as well. Real Brandon King, good to see you. Dave Clark says, Nate Dog, what's up? A is around, and he had a good win on the tennis yesterday with Anisimova. I mean, Nigel did say she was after that revenge. Had a great show yesterday. Nigel gave his best bet out, was a winner, and several other winners across the Because We Win channel as well. But yes, I mean, yesterday I'm just looking back at some notable winners and losers. Not sadly. Naomi Osaka, moneyline $26,000, minus 196 against Mukova. That was a winner. Osaka into that semi-final. 20,000 was on Iga Swiatek live at even money. Of course, that was a loser with Anisimova prevailing there. The biggest, one of the biggest soccer bets yesterday, which is quite funny because I was watching this game. This is how we were scraping the barrel for soccer yesterday, Nathan. Seychelles against Gabon. I did take a look at this game. This is how sad I am. Seychelles are one of the worst teams in the rankings of FIFA, right? They were 3-0 down at half-time. Seychelles Gabon live over 5.5 goals at plus 138 was sadly a loser, nearly $3,000. I thought it could rack up into a big score, but Gabon only won 4-0. But yeah, Seychelles, they are one of the worst teams in world soccer. That is sure.
I was out there a couple of years ago, and I missed getting to see them at home by a couple of days. But anytime there's some niche football wherever I'm in the world, I was definitely intrigued to get there. But yeah, sadly, I didn't see that one. But an unfortunate loser, I'm sure.
Byron says thanks to Sean Calvert from the Rossetti play. Yeah, like I said yesterday, there were so many winners across the board on all the shows. The tennis guys have been doing really, really well. And the live show here with Nigel was very, very profitable. But yeah, we're here for more bets as per usual. I said the other day we're going to go into the World Cup qualifying Europe card, and we'll go through them. I mean, some games we might not have anything. We might have some stronger plays across the board. We'll go with Lithuania versus Malta. Not really. At one point, I was tempted with Lithuania here, Nathan, but minus 148. I don't think I can stomach that one. Yeah. Malta, not a very good side. Lithuania, normally a team I'm looking to oppose, but they have improved a little bit recently. There's just no real value backing them at minus 148, surely.
Yeah, it's a little bit short. If you were to force my hand, I would pick the hosts. Like, neither of these teams are going to do anything in this group, but it's a battle for pride, battle for points. And if you look at the last clash, which happened only a few months ago, yes, it was in Malta, 0-0. The stats are slightly in favour of Lithuania, who did hit the crossbar in that game. When I say stats are slightly in their favour, they had a few more shots, double on target, but only 2 with an XG of 0.35. So, look, this may be a cagey game. So if you are looking for a bet, and Lithuania are now a little bit too short now, where you would tend to side with the host in these fiddly games, but an under 1.5 goal play is not the worst shout in the world, because this is going to be a chess match. Either team will know, that if they do concede, like, the team is not likely to win the match. It's hardly going to be a comeback, but it's not going to be a classic, is it? It's not going to be a game everyone's going to be tuning in for. I think the value has potentially gone with Lithuania at that current price. It has shortened drastically. I don't have any inside information as to why, so maybe that under 1.5 is probably a nice little side bet for this particular match.
Yeah, I can't really get involved too much in this. I think Jamie Carragher's son plays for Malta now, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, as you said that, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Carragher was actually on Monday Night Football the other week saying that he was talking about a player. I can't remember what player it was, but he said that he had first-hand glance pitch side watching this player. And I was like, where has he watched that player? And I knew it had to be an international game. He didn't say I was watching Malta against so-and-so, watching my lad play for Malta. But it just rung a bell with me. James Carragher is a Malta international, of course.
Maybe that strengthens the under 1.5 now. Who knows?
Yeah, get stuck in. 2 poor nations against each other. The next fixtures are certainly a bit more spicy. Georgia, Turkey. I mean, we're going to get a lot of rivalry here. Yeah. Someone's already put in the comments, get on over 2.5. You could get on over quite a lot of things, I reckon, in this sort of game. Turkey, fundamentally, I mean, Georgia are definitely an improving nation. Turkey, I think, have been on the rise as well the last couple of years. So normally they're 2 teams I'm looking to get with mostly. So when they're playing against each other, I'm a little bit torn. Nathan, have you got some thoughts on this game?
I agree with the over 2.5 shout. I originally looked at both teams to score. It's a little bit short around the 4 to 6 mark, but I tend to think if both teams aren't going to score, then over 2.5 line looks rather generous. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm a Georgia or a Turkey expert, but what I can offer is, if you look at the 2 teams, both play with attacking formations. Both of their best sets of players are in the final third. If we look at the group, this is a game which they will almost have to win. Turkey will believe that they will win because Spain are likely or will top this group. So it's going to be a real battle for that second place. Georgia will probably back themselves at home and look to probably scrape a draw when they play this in the reverse fixture. And Turkey know that if they go here and win, that second spot is likely to be theirs. So an early goal will really set the tone for this match. I agree with you in terms of overs on a lot of things, but let's try and keep it simple, because that over 2.5 line at the moment is around 4 to 5. If you do want that a little bit more reassurance, I guess, or insurance play, 4 to 6 is probably the lowest I would go for both teams to score. But I do quite like it. I think what's interesting here is, I think we can dismiss the recent friendlies with Georgia drawing against Cape Verde and just beating Faroe Islands. Look, both nations have only played 3 or 4 games across 2025. So we are going into a little bit of unknown territory here, but it's really quite interesting to see that 9 of Turkey's last 12 matches on foreign soil has seen both teams to score. So it could be quite a chaotic match. Like I said, all the talent is in the final third for both nations. And if either team win this, I think it sets them up perfectly for a second place finish, even after one game, just because Bulgaria are so weak.
Yeah, I think you might have talked me in there, Nathan and Duncan, with that over 2.5 goals. These two sides do generally try to play on the front foot, and absolutely, Kvaratskhelia is Georgian. He's plus 160 to score any time in this match. Mikatadze recently moved to Villarreal for 30 million euros, plus 150 to score anytime. He has a great knack of scoring for his nation. And they also do have the Liverpool goalkeeper, Mabadashvili. No one's even talked about him this window. Liverpool have an unbelievable goalkeeper sitting on their bench, by the way.
But that could harm them, right? Headed into this, he hasn't played since August in a friendly where he conceded 2 goals. So then maybe that feeds into the over 2.5 as well.
Yeah, that could be something. He could be a little bit ring rusty. Last season he was saving so many chances for Valencia. So, just looking through some other comments. Tribe of Glad, good to see you live in today. How you doing? Stephen Hall, Georgia will be a sellout, and although their league football is about League 2 standard, they do have an improving national team. Yes, they've now got 2 or 3 genuine stars, and maybe 2 or 3 others who are sort of, very serviceable at this level. It's just Turkey have the better overall squad, like the depth of squad. They've got plenty of quality themselves. Yildiz Gurlat, Toglu, Chanahoglu, although I think he's been an injury doubt recently, or he's had injury problems for a while. You never quite know when he's going to be fully fit for the game.
If you look at the last, I know you can take recent results with a pinch of salt because you are going over a 12-month period, but on the road, like Turkey, they've always been a nation of late which have really disappointed, conceding 2 against Iceland, 3 against Montenegro, 1 against USA in that run of friendlies where USA were getting battered. I just think sometimes the market still overestimates Turkey. They're always, I can't remember who we spoke about the other day. I think it was Denmark as the underdogs for a tournament. Turkey sometimes gets that reputation as well. And I just think that what Georgia have in the final third really sets up goals in this particular match.
Yeah, they can be a bit flaky, Turkey. They're often labelled a dark horse. We talked about dark horses the other day. They're another one that have been given that tag before. Kazakhstan nearly scored a worldy goal just now, by the way. It hit the top of the crossbar. It would have been an unbelievable goal. When he come off his boot, I thought it was a goal. But thankfully, it didn't go in for the underbackers.
It's that 3G pitch, which Bellamy was complaining about, wasn't it?
Yeah, remarkable. I would have had to held up your hands for that one if it had gone in. 94% of the money is on Turkey for this game. 98% of the money is on the over. So that's where the money is, Nathan, here. Over. Get on the goals. Georgia versus Turkey. World Cup qualifying Europe. Netherlands versus Poland. Poland disappointing, losing against Finland away from home. And they're under pressure here. I think the bigger game for Poland's at the weekend. They got Finland at home. Netherlands away is just minus 385 on the Netherlands. Some might look at that and think that's a little bit on the short side. But at the moment, you've got 2 nations which certainly the Netherlands are not getting any worse. If anything, they're getting better, or at least staying at their level. And Poland seem to be just drifting the wrong way.
The amount of talent in Netherlands team is just ridiculous. And I think what's quite important to point out, I know they're short here, but I think Netherlands are a bit of a shoe-in for this. I think the minus 1.5 Asian handicap line looks good, but a potential side bet in this is Memphis Depay to score any time, because if he does score, he becomes the leading Dutch goal scorer of all time. So he'll likely be leading the line. He scored 2 last time out for them against Malta, albeit I know Malta nowhere near the level of Poland. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Poland have been really disappointing. I don't think... I think the priorities are elsewhere. Like you said, they need to pick up that win against Finland. So maybe this is a game where it's a damage limitation, but Gravenberch, De Jong, Gakpo, Depay, Simmons, it's just stacked, this Netherlands side. So the minus 1.5 line looks rather generous to me. So I'd be taking that, but I'd also be looking at Depay, or if you feel like that price is particularly short to begin with, backing him in play. I think at any point to break that record, he's going to get a few chances against this Poland side, which they do on paper, they look all right. But as you said, losing against Finland 2-1, if they've conceded 2 against Finland, they're likely to concede 2 against the Netherlands, who look a well-drilled side and went to Finland and beat them 2-0 in their own backyard. So I think the minus 1.5 Asian handicap line looks really tidy. And Depay to be on the goal scorers, as one of the goal scorers, also looks really solid.
That's a great angle about Depay. I didn't even actually know that, to be fair. Cody Gakpo minus 136 to score anytime. He's the favourite. Depay, you can get him at minus 112. Nearly even money to score and break that record against a Polish team who, like I say, I'm almost certain they're looking ahead to the Finland game. They can get second in this group still. Finland are not a very good soccer team. Let's put one thing right. Poland should be absolutely beating them all day at home. But I'm not saying they're going to sack off the game, because goal difference does matter.
Yeah.
In these, that's one thing we must mention for qualifying for Europe. Goal difference is a factor, but I don't think they're going to mind losing. If they offer them, say, a 3-0 loss here and beating Finland at home, I think they'd take that for this window. So I can absolutely see your angle there, Nathan, for sure.
Yeah, and Poland have conceded 2+ goals in 5 of the last 8 internationals as well, just to throw in a little bit more padding on the data there towards the hosts.
Peter Charkins, good to see you. Get on members, he'll be very motivated, and on penalties, apparently. AZ Flight said Simmons to score or assist might be a decent look. I was talking to a Spurs fan actually last night, and he's very excited about the prospect of Javi Simmons in the Premier League. So, yeah, he's a player I rate, actually. Quite like it.
Spurs know how to ruin a player, though, don't they, at times? So we'll have to wait and see.
We certainly will have to wait and see. 98% of the money on the over-under market is on the over again, and it's the most wagered over-under play by total money of any Thursday soccer game on Bet Rivers. So, liking the goals here, probably that Poland defence is saying to people that the Netherlands could cover the goal line all by themselves and possibly beyond that. So, best of luck if you are playing in that particular fixture. Bulgaria, Spain. We are singing off the same hymn sheet on this one, Nathan. Later on, we might not be, but in this match, we're definitely seeing the same angles. Bulgaria, 30-1 to win the game. The tie is as big as 10-1. And Spain here, minus 1667. Goal lines at 3.5. Over 3.5 goals is minus 112. For the fixture. And I mean, I can remember the days when Bulgaria were decent at international soccer, but they have really drifted down the rankings. They are now 84th in the FIFA official world rankings. And, that's on the same level as like Angola, teams like that. It has been quite a demise. Spain, the second best ranked side in the world behind Argentina. It's a mismatch on paper. Will it be a mismatch on the score?
100%. My co-host on my podcast is Bulgarian. I've spoken to him about the national team a few times, and he says that as a nation, they've just almost given up because there just doesn't look to be any sort of direction for them. And I put out a bold statement, but I think they'll come out of this group, and I don't think they even get any points. I really don't see anything here. Like, you could be looking at the potential Georgia match, but they'll be looking to sneak second place. Bulgaria are so incredibly weak. Like, even if you just go through the data and looking at their only victories over the last 3 years was a friendly 1-0 win against Tanzania, beat Northern Ireland 1-0. Like, the recent friendly, Greece was 4-0, and Greece actually put out quite a reserve side for that when they had like 2 friendlies back to back, but draws against Cyprus, 2 back-to-back defeats in Ireland in the Nations League. It was just nothing short of just a disaster, really. So hearing it from the horse's mouth when it comes to how Bulgarians actually view their nation, and they've given up on them because there just seems to be absolutely no direction from their FA or what they want to do, what they want to achieve. No one's coming through. And as you touched upon, Spain, Argentina, the joint best 2 teams in the world. This is going to be a formality. I think the minus 2.5 Asian handicap line is probably the best bet of the round for this particular set of fixtures we're talking about. And I wouldn't put people off trying to ladder that with some smaller stakes. I just think if Spain find their groove here, and if they actually carry the momentum and go throughout the 90 minutes in 3rd or 4th gear, this could be 3-4, 5-0 Bulgaria. They're absolutely hopeless, and Spain aren't, are they? So I think there's only one winner in this match.
I'm totally with you. I think it's the best bet of the day. It might be one of the best bets of the round. Minus 2.5 handicap. That's all we need Spain to cover here. I'll put it out there. The last time that they were involved in qualifying, it was for the Euros, of course, in the September window. They beat Georgia 7-1 away from home and followed it up with 6-0 win against Cyprus. They're the sort of team that at the start of the group stage, they just get their business done very quickly, rack up the goal difference early. So then later on, they can just get the win if they need it. And I think that's what Spain are going to do in this window. They'll start with, I think, a very, very convincing win. This could be 4 or 5-0. Bulgaria are awful. Now, Bulgaria sometimes live by reputation, or did for a while. I think everyone now does know that they're pretty bad. Spain are in Turkey, of course, at the weekend, and that's another game that I'm not going to be able to talk about it on tomorrow's show or even Saturday. But I think Spain will go there and absolutely do the business there too. But this one, -2.5 handicap, Spain probably win 2-0. And yeah, you mentioned the ladder. Why not bring it out? Because there's a huge disparity between the nations. Like I said, those world rankings, and you can sometimes take these world rankings with a pinch of salt. But the likes of Curaçao and El Salvador are very close to Bulgaria. That's the sort of level Bulgaria are at now. It's not like you average mid-level European nation who can cause problems sometimes. They're in a mess, aren't they?
Yeah, you think about it. If Spain get an early goal here, always. Only 1-0 at half time, I'll be confident, but this is going to be 2-0 at half time. Bulgaria completely switch off. I don't know how many fans are going to be there, but it's when I've spoken to my mates who have been there or been to recent games, as soon as a goal's gone against them, there is no atmosphere. There is like a lack of right, let's get back into the game now. If anything, fans are probably going to turn up to watch Spain. So it's not like Spain are going to be going into a hostile environment or anything like that. So if it's not 3-0, it'll be very disappointing.
Any goal scorer picks for the Spain game, says A. I mean, the problem here is they're a loaded squad, and we don't know what the 11's going to be. And it's a sort of game where we're going to get probably 5 subs will come off if they're in control by an hour. But do you know who would interest me if he did start the game? And it's actually defender Dean Huijsen, plus 600. This guy has really looked dangerous early doors for Real Madrid from set pieces, and Spain probably will rack up quite a lot of corners. Even if they take the short corner, the box still should be loaded. And Bulgaria are just pouring every element that I'd imagine set pieces they're going to be vulnerable from as well. No one even thinks about Spain from set pieces, do they?
No,
so
definitely not.
This could be an area where they get caught out, Bulgaria, because they're not even thinking about it. Yamal's -180 to score any time. I mean, I wouldn't want to be opposing that bet, even if it's -180.
No, definitely not. But keep it simple. Sometimes people can get a little bit carried away when you see a game like this. Try and cover the Asian handicaps and then spread a couple of goal scorer bets, but you could soon lose your money on that as well, especially if 1 or 2 are subbed early, if the job's done. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't look for gold sometimes. You've got to think about it. There's a game coming around in a few days, which will probably be a little bit more difficult playing Turkey. So just cover that Asian handicap line, take the win, bank it and move on.
Yeah, and Bulgaria 94 World Cup, of course. I don't actually really remember that World Cup. I'm too young for that. I've been. You might. I don't know how old you are, Nathan.
I was 1, so probably not.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember it. England weren't at it, of course, but that they did a good run there, and I think they were okay for like the next decade or so after that. But yeah, Anana's goalkeeping coach, Huijsen shoots from anywhere outside the box. Props worth a look in that way. I mean, you'd have to consider that as Anana's goalkeeping coach, wouldn't you? But yeah, he is someone who does like a shot. So do take a look at him there. Producer Troy went to 2 matches at the 1994 World Cup. Which matches did you watch, Troy? And what venues were you at there? The Rose Bowl had the final, didn't it? That was the Roberto Baggio penalty skied over, I think.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's seen that. In fact,
yeah, of course.
Blinker God, I love these angles. Looking at the social aspects of players and individuals. Yamal just got out of a relationship, so he's probably locked in. That people laugh at that, but it can make a difference, one way or the other. It can, yeah. It really is something. It can work the other way as well. Someone besotted and in love, engaged to be married or whatever. They might want to, baby on the way. These things can make a difference. I like
yellow card, getting angry.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love these angles. Okay, let's move on to the next game on the board here. Slovakia, Germany.
Yeah.
Slovakia plus 650, Germany minus 278, tie plus 400. Yeah, I had a good look at this game, Nathan. I got absolutely nothing for it. I think it's a difficult one for me. Germany are the sort of team who I go very hot and cold on. You've got a small lean on the game, right?
I quite like Germany to win and backing them with under 3.5 or under 4.5. I think under 4.5 is probably a safer bet. But as I shared that bet with you, the more I look at it, they have got a host of players out injured. So I'm not really sure who's going to line up. So I know it's really boring and listeners will want a bet for every single match, but I think I might pull that out and it might be just a case of observing it, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure on Slovakia. I mean, I know they got smashed against Greece recently. I think it was 4-1. They haven't really performed for quite some time now, if you look at some of the matches they've played, but they haven't really played anyone big for a while either, apart from obviously that England game, if you class England to be a big nation. So it's difficult. I just think this is going to be a different Germany side to what we are used to seeing. Maybe looking at it on the clean sheet angle. I know Rudiger's not really been playing much for Real Madrid, so he'll come into this and he'll want to perform to try and get back into the starting 11 there. If you're going to look for a really niche angle, I don't think Slovakia do all that much attacking wise, especially looking at previous games, XGs, etc. So Germany and unders could be the bet, but there's a lot of key names out for the visitors. So maybe it's a bit of a watching brief and see what we learn from them.
Yeah, someone was asking about Walter Marder, and he is in the squad. He's expected to start, actually, for this game, just looking at the odds, he's plus 120 to score any time. But if you are going to back Walter Marder, I think the best bet, and this will be at Newcastle as well, to score or assist every day of the week, minus 108, because he's not just a goal scorer. He is a really big target man. He can do great skills with his feet technically, and he brings other players into play. So Walter Marder is definitely a dual threat in that market. That would always be the market I back him in, unless Newcastle start to shape him into a genuine number 9, which could happen. But I'd imagine with Wither in the team, Walter Marder is just a top quality player. I think he's brilliant. I think it's a superb signing for Newcastle. And if he is starting there today, maybe I might have to be tempted.
He'll have a point to prove, won't he, I guess, to a new audience. So that'd be interesting.
He was a cash machine in those under 21s. He was just backing them in, smashing them in the back of the net. Unplayable against certain individuals. Maybe Slovakia might have some problems there. There is a breakdown for that game. 86% of the money on the money line is on Germany, and over-under money, just 61% on the over. That's not a lot considering today. So I think you can see your point there, Nathan. Actually, why maybe the under might be more looked at in this fixture. Slovakia as well would always take a point to Germany. The next fixture is another big mismatch. And we've got maybe a difference of opinion here, actually, which is going to be an interesting debate. The latest odds for the game actually is so it's 33-1 on the tie. Liechtenstein are actually 140-1 to win the game. There's no odds offered on Belgium because Liechtenstein are, well, there's actually only 6 teams in the world who are ranked lower than Liechtenstein. That is the quiz question of the day, guys. Without Googling it, can any of you name the 6 nations below Liechtenstein in the FIFA World Rankings? You'd probably be able to get one of them, actually, Nathan. But for this game, I mean, we're really talking about handicaps more than Belgium are going to win the game. We know that. In terms of handicaps, we're looking at -4, -4.25 on Belgium, -4.5 if you want plus money. You actually quite like the dog here on the handicap. I love betting against bad teams, so I'm more on Belgium's side. But tell me what you think about why Liechtenstein can cover this handicap. Give me a Belgium angle, perhaps, because I might have overlooked them.
So I'm either going to look like a genius here, or we can just forget this ever happened. But just going back through, I saw Lukaku was out injured at first, which sparked my sort of interest. And then I saw something which really sparked my interest in terms of Liechtenstein's plus 4.5 handicap has won in the last 8 home matches in World Cup qualifying and Belgium have not won with a minus 4.5 handicap in their last 8 away matches in World Cup qualifying. I know you can take it that maybe with a pinch of salt, because obviously this is a huge mismatch and these two nations have never met before, but Liechtenstein are not getting battered like they used to. So there's angles for this. I know I've gone heavy on Spain to beat Bulgaria, but I'm actually almost contradicting myself for the other reason. Will Belgium just be happy with 3-4-0 with this particular match? Stay in first, second gear, think about the match they're having in 3 or 4 days. It's only the start of the European season. Will anybody want to get injured? And if we look at Belgium's away record over the last few years, like they've only ever, when I had a look, like they haven't won by more than 4 goals since going back to 2020. They beat Estonia 5-2, but they conceded 2 against Estonia. So that line wasn't met if we are to look at the plus 4.5. And Liechtenstein, yes, they lost 4-0 to Scotland at home. So people will be thinking Belgium can do more damage there, but they only lost 3-0 on the road to Wales, 2-0 Kazakhstan, 3-1 San Marino, 3-0 North Macedonia. I know this isn't the dizzy heights of Belgium, but just that original stat really caught my eye in terms of the plus 4.5 has won all the time for Liechtenstein. And I hate getting on unders, chasing goals sometimes, being really frustrated about teams missing chance after chance. So who knows? This could be 10-0 and I've looked like a complete idiot, but come back to me when this is 4-0 to Belgium and I look like a genius. So I'm not going to break down any particular players and say, well, look, he's going to mark De Bruyne out of the game, etc. But no Lukaku either makes this a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I'm not going to say this is the best bet, or I'm not going to put huge stakes on this, but the 4.5 does interest me, and it sort of came from the Andorra England angle. And I know we're not talking about that game today, but I like the plus 4.5 in that match as well. So I think that led me down a slippery slope, and that's why I've landed on this Asian handicap in favour of Liechtenstein. So tell me why it's going to be 8 or 9-0, and then we can clip up the winner and pretend that neither of us said it either way.
Well, to be fair to you, Nathan, the actual stats do point to the plus 4.25 winning. You have made a very good case there. And if this was Euro qualifying, I might not get involved. But goal difference is important in these qualifying. And I'm just watching this game now. Kazakhstan have had a good second half, by the way. They've been knocking on that Wales door. And Wales came from behind to they were 3-0 up against Belgium, and Wales were 3 behind. Came back to 3-3 and 4-3 win for Belgium. It's every chance those two teams could finish level on points, so it might come down to who beats Liechtenstein the most. So I think they'll be up for it, and I'm with you actually. I think it could either be like a really sort of tame Belgian win or a massive one. So in which case, the bet I'm going to have, I'm not going to go mad on this either. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to avoid the -4 lines. I'm going to go straight to -5 at plus 163.
I like it. You've gone. I hear you, Nathan, but you're completely wrong.
Because I just think if it's big, it's really big.
Yeah,
that's the way I think this one goes. And Liechtenstein, someone Moose 10 is right there. San Marino are one of those 6 teams. They just lost to San Marino at home recently, 3-1. They lost to Scotland at home 4-0.
Yeah, but they did score against San Marino. They don't really score, so
Liechtenstein didn't they win a goal? One of the Golazzos of the last qualifying. It was the only goal they scored, I think.
Oh,
it was one of the best goals. Yeah, do you remember that?
They did. Yeah, I can't remember who was that against.
Whoever it was, I was on Winter Nil probably. So
I think everyone was.
I can't remember who that was against. It
was
an
an
incredible goal.
Was it San Marino?
No, it was against someone half decent actually. I'm trying to find out now. It might have been Bosnia. I think it was.
Oh, yeah, Bosnia win the group. Yeah.
Bosnia never cover handicaps against anyone now. Bosnia
2-1. Bosnia 2-1.
At home as well, Bosnia that day. The handicap would have been about -5 there.
Sandro Wolfinger, if anybody wants to Google that particular goal. Yeah.
Byron's on your side here, +2. He's taking first half on Liechtenstein, first half at -130. So, let's see how this one ends up, Nathan. One of us is going to win.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think in some form. Hopefully. I mean, I just think it could be quite a big beating if they really get going. Or it might be a tame one. If Liechtenstein keep this up at home, then fair play to them along those grounds. We've got one more match. Well, actually, I say one more match. We haven't got a bet on it. Luxembourg, Northern Ireland is the one game I disregarded as well. But I've got a stat here, which was interesting. I think 6 of the last 7 Northern Ireland games have contained at least 2 goals. And the goal line there is at 1.5. I mean, this is one of the lowest goal lines you will see. Northern Ireland have an unbelievable reputation for low-scoring matches. But has something changed? I think they changed their coach not too long ago. And it did, as I say, I did notice that their recent matches have gone over a little bit more. Not that I would probably stomach betting on their overs too much. You know, they only lost 2-1 to Denmark in a friendly. In the Nations League, 2-2 draw against Luxembourg. They played against each other, these two teams. Maybe they might fancy beating each other. So if I had a $3, $50 play on the game, I would go on overs, but I'm not going to put any of my own money on it. And you have absolutely nothing for this game either, do you?
No, I was steering towards the draw, and then I saw that only 2 of the last 13 home matches for Luxembourg have been a draw. They've won 5, lost 6. And what was quite interesting in terms of in their dugout is their long-serving manager, who's been in charge for 15 years, Luc Holtz, has recently resigned after controversy around Gerson Rodriguez, one of their players who's since been sent to prison for assault. So I think he continued to play him when there was obviously some issues going on there. So he's left. There's a new manager in charge. And I think they've won 1 of their last 14 games, which is quite interesting. But that win came against Sweden in a friendly, which maybe take that with a pinch of salt as well. I think that over goals line is, I could sound like an idiot here, but maybe a bit too low. I think both teams will fancy it to win this particular match. So why not? It's similar to the round in this particular set of Euros games off with the thoughts on the Georgia game, where 98% of people are on the overs there because both teams will feel like they can win the match. So maybe there's something in it there. Maybe that's just a tiny bit too low. But yeah, no official play from me on that particular match.
Just before we move to South America, I got a message today from Dan Roebuck. And he is commentating on a friendly match that kicks off in about 20 minutes' time. Gibraltar against Albania. And he said, look at the Gibraltar handicap plus 2.5 and don't underestimate them today. It's their first time at home playing in a while, and they're making a big deal about opening their new South stand. And the first time in 30 years, they're going to have fans behind a goal. He said they could still get hammered, but Albania are massively flaky in friendlies like this. So you have been warned by Dan Roebuck.
Yes.
But Albania at minus 1,000 might not be a lock here.
I did look at that. I did look at that match because obviously Gibraltar have been playing their competitive fixtures in Portugal and been getting battered. And I used to work in Gibraltar, and it is boiling hot. And I'm in Seville now, which is hot, but it must be like 35 at least. 35 degrees there at the moment. Obviously, maybe a bit cooler towards kickoff, but I agree. I think that's a really good shout because I was looking to see if Gibraltar could get beat, but would I be fancying Albania on that handicap line? Absolutely not. So I think that's a great shout.
You can't actually bet on the Asian handicap, but you can do on the 3-way spread. Cool. Gibraltar starting 3-0, which is effectively plus 2.5, is at minus 127 with Bet Rivers. So, I mean, the goal line's at 3.5 itself. In that heat, would you go overs, really? I'm not sure I would myself. But
it might be a stronger bet than the Liechtenstein plus handicap if we're looking to compare it to something.
This Wales game is still only 1-0. I have to say it's been one of them horrible unders I've been betting on where there's been chances, there's been misses, and it's quite an open game still. But it's still somehow 1-0.
I agree with you. I was on North Macedonia when they beat them 1-0 and Kazakhstan came at them in the second half. Loads and loads of chances, but they just didn't know how to finish. So it's a similar game. I'm on Wales and under 3.5. So I'm waiting for that inevitable equaliser.
We don't want that equaliser.
No, we don't.
If it goes 2-0 Wales, I think the game might just shut down completely.
Yeah.
But whilst it's still 1-0, Kazakhstan think they've got a chip in a chair. And they've had some chances. Okay, back to South America then. For those who watched the show a couple of days ago, will know your best plays on this particular match card. But I don't know if you've got anything to add about any of the games here, Nathan. Certainly Brazil, we'll talk about them. I was actually, by the way, before we do that, the Betting Weekly Insider, do sign up for it. Friday it's going to be out, and there's some power ratings for international soccer that we've got on there, and Brazil are one of the hardest teams to actually power rank because they're the favourites to win the World Cup. But, you know, having had that discussion with you the other day, we couldn't really put them higher than certain other teams. So, but do sign up to that newsletter. We've got some international picks for the weekend, UFC bets as well. And it's going to be a revamp actually of the newsletter in terms of how the picks are going to be generated going forward, which will hopefully generate more profit. So we're looking forward to that. But back to South America here, Brazil, Chile, minus 455 Brazil in this game now. You got some other thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I'm probably going to bamboozle a few people who be tuned in to hear me slate Brazil, but having seen the price and there's been a drift on them, and they're now at a backable price on the minus 1.5. I think it's around 3 to 4, 1.7 to 1.75. But I do think that's a backable price with the reported starting 11. João Pedro is meant to be leading the line. Esteval to his right. The only controversial pick I would say is probably Casemiro and Martinelli. But the why I like this bet, or why I think it's become a good price, is the fact that, look, Chile just want this over and done with. They have been awful. They haven't scored. They've conceded, I think it's 17 on their travels. They don't have anybody in attack. It'll be really blunt. They're at the Maracanã for this particular match. It's going to be a sellout. And Brazil they still have a point to prove. Carlo Ancelotti still has people to win over. I know that sounds crazy, but he still needs to convince people that he's the right man for the job to make Brazil competitive at the next World Cup. But Brazil travel to El Alto next week to face Bolivia. Are they going to bother for that match? Will they rotate heavily? The answer is probably yes. So this is the last chance in front of their fans in a competitive match, or during this World Cup qualifiers anyway, because they'll just play friendlies in the lead up to the next World Cup. Should they be beating Chile by 2 goals or more? Absolutely yes. If they don't, then we can go back to what I said the other day in terms of them almost joint favourites to win it is an absolute joke. I still think that, but they're now at a good price. And I think João Pedro will continue his good form. His mindset seems good. Read an interview today, and he just seems to be a well-rounded individual and loving his football at the moment. So hopefully if he brings that into his international football, leading the line, this is a real opportunity to make a statement and make that number 9 position his. There's 1 or 2 players in behind, so he will look to get on the score sheet. And I just think that's a backable price, maybe a tiny bit short for other people, but for me, I really like it.
Colombia to beat Bolivia to 0 is now minus 225. In fact, you're better off taking both teams to score no at minus 200. Would that still be a bet? I mean, we had this debate before on the dojo, Neil Channing. You can still get value bets at short prices, minus 200, just on both to score no. That still looks very appealing.
Yeah, I think I said the other day, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Bolivia has scored in Colombia since 1973. So if that loses, it's a very unfortunate loser. But yeah, Colombia's prices just got shorter and shorter and shorter. I know you were happy to ladder them. I think that price has now gone. But it looks like a lot of people have locked in on that as well. So maybe an in-play bet if Colombia, for those who want to stay up, are going to be rewarded wherever you are in the world. But if Colombia don't score in the first 20, 25 minutes, which I'll be very surprised if they don't, Colombia become a really attractive price. So it might be one to ladder in play now. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if Bolivia score. I know there's a lot on the line for them, but Colombia still need to qualify technically, so they'll have a point to prove. And I think it could be it will be a comfortable victory.
Yeah, the minus 2 Asian that I gave out the other day is gone into minus 162 from minus 141. I'm on that minus 3 Asian line as well. That is currently plus 185. Colombia 4, Bolivia 0. That's what I'm saying, Nathan, for this game. And the other match, you went for the tie in the Paraguay Ecuador game at plus 195. That's also shortened in plus 175. Would that still be a bet for you as well?
I'll be having a more fun bet on under 1.5 goals or the 0-0. If I land 2 0-0 correct scores in a row, my work is done here on this particular show, isn't it? I do fancy it. I don't think there's going to be goals in this particular match. I think they're just going to cancel each other out. Ecuador are experts at the 0-0, experts for shutting people down on the roads. Their job is done. So Yeah, I think so. But look at that under 1.5. Look at the 0-0. Look at under 0.5 goals. Whatever market you want in and around that, should be some decent prices.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the 0-0 prices now, plus 410 with Bet Rivers, and under 1.5 goals is at. That can't be right. I've got those right. It can't be plus 120 for under 1.5 goals, can it? I think it must be. I think it is.
Okay, everything's coming in.
Incredible drift, isn't it? On that particular one. This game, this Kazakhstan, it's been an excruciating watch for underbetters. Kazakhstan just keep getting in good positions and just wasting them.
It's got to be nearly over now, isn't it?
There is 2 minutes left to play.
Okay. Right. Come on.
It's been one of those games. I think anyone on the overs, even in running for over 1.5 at the moment, are tearing their hair out. They really are. Any final thoughts on these World Cup qualifying South American games, the other fixtures that we need to note, Nathan, or not? And what would be the best bet on the card for South America for you?
I think the best bet, Colombia to win to 0 was, maybe still is. I know the price is shortened, so it's hard for me to promote that again. I do really like the draw, Paraguay, Ecuador, and I think Brazil are a good price as well. I like all three. Nothing's really a standout. I would just say keep an eye on that Argentina-Venezuela game, Colombia, Bolivia, because next week is going to be absolutely chaos in El Alto for Bolivia home against Brazil. I think there's so many betting opportunities there. And Venezuela at home against Colombia as well. Both teams will need a win if they are to get the World Cup next year. So it's going to be two really, really interesting games. I think both of those nations lose this time round, but that makes it even more interesting. So definitely have a look at those markets when they open up.
Now, aside from the soccer field, there is the start of the NFL season today. It's a really exciting one. We've got Cowboys at Eagles. I just wanted to give a betting split for those who are interested in the game. The game spread is +8, -8. 68% of the spread money is on the Eagles. 76% of the money line money is on the Eagles. Notable wages are on the player props markets here. Dallas Goedert over 37.5 receiving yards, $30,000 play. 25,000 on Saquon Barkley over 14.5 receiving yards, -111. Biggest money line play is on the Eagles. And yeah, I am into my NFL, and I may well be staying up for that one, along with some of these South American games, Nathan. It's going to be an exciting night, actually. You might be siestaing over there in Seville, but there's plenty of action in those hours on the soccer field and on the NFL field. But yeah, I've really enjoyed doing these two shows with you this week, mate. And what would be, best bet from Europe today as well? Give us that.
Oh, yes. Let's have a look. Probably Spain, isn't it? Yeah, I think -2.5 on Spain. Probably them next best would be the overs on the Georgia-Turkey. But obviously the banker is Liechtenstein. But
all eyes on that Liechtenstein game. My best bet is the Spain one as well. Claudio was asking there. How are you doing, Claudio? Are you doing well? And Spain -2.5 on the handicap for me and Nathan. I think Spain rack up the score quite well there. A's getting on the Cowboys +8.5. Tempt. He's not an expert, but he's following it casually. Dak Prescott 2 passing touchdown seems nice. And A's going to be backing Anisimova in that semi-final. And he's going to have a nibble of Jess Pagula in the tennis. Byron's grabbed Dallas at +9 before it went back down. Got some line value there. Okay. We will see you again tomorrow on Betting Week Live. I'm not going to be on, but Dan Robert will be presenting the show. Otherwise, it'll be next week from me and Nathan. Have a great time out there. Good luck with all your bets. Take care, everyone. Gamble responsibly. See you next time.